What's going on, guys? I got the perfect coca plantation here for you. I'm gonna lay everything out exactly how this build works right in the end of the video after I show how to put the build together. So let's get straight into this. Alright guys, super excited for this one, so let's get into looking at this list here. So what we're gonna need for this one is gonna be, I have 20 storage racks in here, but I also have these 6, one back here, so that's 27 total. You're also gonna need 6 small storage racks, 1 safe there and 2 there, so that's 3 safes, and 2 trash cans. You're also gonna need 16 drying racks, 4 ovens, 4 cauldrons, 1 brick press, and 10 grow setups. And yes, do not use the halogen and the plastic pots. I made a mistake, but I caught myself before I ended up starting the build. For this build, I'm using the LED and the moisture pots. Alright, later. The basic ones, I'll explain that later at the end of the video. So let's go ahead and start right up with this. And I'm going to begin with the storage racks here. And I'm going to start off by finding the middle of the room rack. And I'm going to center it with a window. And after we're right up against the stairs, I'm just going to come 2 spaces away from the stairs. So that way I'm able to walk through it. Then we're going to throw one storage, we're going to throw the other one on the opposite side. And we can come back in this room. As you see, I already have the one there. It's 1 space away from the wall, so we want to do the same thing here. And then take a small storage rack, also 1 space away from the wall on each side. So it should look like that. Next, we're going to come over to the start of the staircase. And right beside these beams, we're going to place one of our large storage racks. And then we're going to go 2 spaces and place another one. And then bring them out, extend that one more. Then we're going to take a small rack and place it back on the back wall there. Come over to the left side of what we just made. Do another small rack and a large rack. Should look like that so far. We're going to take 2 more racks and space them out 2 spaces each. So you should have something like this. And then we're going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side. Storage rack, drop it back, extend that back wall, storage rack. Just like that. So this is what you should be looking like. And then these last 2 here, they're going to go in the middle so that everything is lined up. And now you have these rows, and you will just place your other storage racks as I have here. And just right now, I just have a bunch of ingredients for the build, so I just threw them down. I'm sure that you guys got that part. So now moving forward, we're going to grab all of our racks and our lab equipment, our brick press and our safe. We're going to head to the back room. We're going to line up our cauldron here next to this rack that we placed earlier, and then do the other cauldron directly opposite to it, and do the same exact thing on this other side. After that, we take our lab ovens and put them on the inside of each of our cauldrons here. Should look like this. And then we take a brick press and a safe right in the center to make everything even. And now we are on to our drying racks. So what we're going to do is come back under the staircase, right to the left of the beam. Once you place that one, you go 1 space away, line it up with that beam, and then make them into separate rows of 2. And we're going to do that same thing but inverse on the opposite side, still with that 1 space and the rows of 2, just like that. That's how it should look when you're all done. So I'm going to mimic that on this side over here, and do our rows of 2 with 1 space in between each. And that's how we're looking so far. Pretty decent. So finally, we're going to grab our plant pots here, and we're going to use this storage rack as our placeholder. So we're going to line up the middle of the pot with the edge of the storage rack, and then we're going to come 2 spaces away from it, just like that. Then we're going to go on the outside of each of our pots, then place 1 in the middle, and then do another 2 on the outside. Now I'm going to finish this off with our suspension and our lights, and that is looking truly amazing. Now we just have the pièce de résistance, 2 trash cans, not nestled in here, just like that. And that is how it should look when you are all done. I'll show you what to do with those 2 safes after, but I need to take all the stuff out first. But this is how it should all look once it's done, and I'm going to fill everything up, and then we will get into the assignments. Now I've got all of our important stuff filled up here. And we can go ahead and get started on our assignments. I'm going to do all the employee assignments first, and then we'll do the actual station assignments afterwards. So starting off with a chemist, when we assign the chemist, we're going to do both of our cauldrons, and then we're going to select the ovens afterwards. That way we see cauldron, oven. That means he'll prioritize getting the cook started before finishing the cook. And we'll do that same thing with the other chemist, cauldron, oven, and we can now do our botanist. So 2 of our botanists are going to be growing the plants, and they're going to be taking from this middle rack, and they'll be growing 5 plants each. So just select 5 pots. And again for the second botanist, 5 pots plus the storage rack. Now we go to our third botanist here, and this botanist will be taking things from this rack on the opposite side of the pots. And when I assign it, I'm actually going to do these racks in this sort of order. So I'll take one from this side, and then I'll also take one from this side, and then I'm gonna run back and grab this one, and I'm gonna do it like that, so on and so forth. So if you want to do it like that, you can. It's not really gonna make that much of a difference in the long run, but this is how you would do it if you wanted to be hyper efficient, right? Just to fully balance the load throughout everything. And the next botanist we're going to do, finally, this one will need no supply rack, and they are going to work on the 4 of each side, which is closer to the cauldrons. So there we go, 8 drying racks, no supplies needed. Now finally we have our handler assignments here. So our first handler is going to only be supplying this main supply rack, and the order that we want to go ahead and do this is going to be seeds, PGR, fertilizer, speed grow, soil, and they are all going to come straight into this middle rack, and that is going to be all that this handler has to focus on every day. Our second handler here is going to be our back room worker. So she will be doing the gasoline from this side into both of these cauldrons, and she'll be doing the gasoline on the left side into both of the other cauldrons. And this person also will be doing our brick press. We'll just leave this last space open for later. Now our final handler is interesting. This is going to be our loading bay guy. So he's going to take everything from loading bay 1, and he's going to put it in this room on these shelves. And he's going to take everything from loading bay 2, and he's going to put it on the opposite side shelves. And we'll just leave that one for later. Now the reason that we're doing this, we can't fully connect and sort the system, but what we can do is have him just constantly offload things. So what I'll do is I'll always just order 40 of each ingredient and soil from this loading bay side, loading bay 1. And then on the other loading bay 2, I'll order 320 gasoline and 160 coca seeds, and then it'll automatically actually end up sorting itself out just based on the order that he'll do it in. So you'll just have to come back and transfer everything from these shelves onto the main shelves yourself until we get item filtering. But for now, I think that makes it pretty convenient, so you can order deliveries and he'll still just unload them even if you're not here or anything like that. So that brings us to our final part here, which is assigning all of the actual stations themselves where their locations will be. So we're going to start off by grabbing all of our plant pots. So manage all 10, do coca seed, speed grow, PGR, fertilizer, and destination is going to be this shelf right here. So very simple on these. Now for the drying racks, what we're going to do is we're going to take each drying rack one at a time. This back row of 4, so this 4 and those 4, we're going to leave them on purple quality, and we're going to bring this back up into this back corner of these 4, and we're going to just copy that pattern for all 8 of these drying racks. So now these 4 are moving into these 4 separately, each one, and we're going to mimic that on this side right here. Just make sure to leave the first set purple and assign them into the second set in a staggered way like that. Again, just makes it more smooth. And now we have this last set of 4 on each side, And what we're going to do with these ones is actually select 2. So you're going to manage 2 drying racks. We're going to change these ones to heavenly quality and send them into the cauldron. And we're going to do the same on the opposite side over there. So 2 heavenly and cauldron. Heavenly and cauldron. So now we have made our way into the back room, and this is the very straightforward part. Each cauldron gets sent straight into an oven individually, and after that we grab every single oven and we send all the ovens into the brick press, just like that. And the brick press will go into this safe here. Now those other 2 final employee jobs that we had left, for example the worker who's already working on this brick press, she can take everything from this safe up to one of your other safes if you wanted. That way you get back, you run in, just grab everything out of here and go if you wanted to do it like that, or you can leave it back there, but you do have those 2 open options with their last assignment slots. So you could do that with this person here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn everything on, get everybody paid, and we can go ahead and watch this thing start to get rolling, and I will explain how every bit of this functions and the math behind everything. The pots, the racks, the cauldrons, you name it, we're gonna talk about it while we watch this run. And it's time for the big nerd math lesson here, so you might want to go ahead and smoke one for this. I don't know, might get crazy. Now everything has been running for a while, so we can go ahead and get into explaining each part of this. And we will be starting from the plant section, of course. As you can see guys, I did change to the LED lights and the moisture pots. Hopefully I added that into the beginning of the video. Basically, I forgot that the base timer for cocaine is not 24 hours, it's actually 29 hours. And if you use this setup, it reduces it to closer to 24 hours. And the air pots with the full spectrum will make it more like 21 hours, I believe. So we want to be closer to 24 for the purpose of this demonstration. So I did luckily remember that right before I turned everything on, so I swapped those out. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. So we have our 10 plants here, and coca, with the way that we have it set up, should be growing 1 plant per 24 hours. So 10 plants every day, and each plant is going to yield 9 leaves. Our drying racks can hold 20 leaves each. So 90 leaves from 10 plants per day isn't exactly an easy number to divide into, so we want to alter that and make it a more even number. And that's where the PGR comes in. So the PGR will take our leaves and increase the yield from 9 to 16. So our plants will now be at a yield of 160 per day, thanks to the PGR, at the cost of lowering the quality. And for now, you can look at it as 0.75 of a stage lower. So it drops us from blue down into green. But then, to increase the yield even further, what we want to do is use our speed grow. The speed grow will instantly mature the plant by 50%. Which means that you'll be growing twice as many plants every day. So that will take our daily yield from 160 leaves up to 320 leaves. And 320 leaves is perfect because if you look at the drying racks, we have 20 slots. So 20 times 8 is 160, and multiply that by 2 is 320. So that's why we have 16 racks in total. But the reason why we separate them into 4, so it's 2 separate sections of 8, this is because we're getting the plants off of the pots twice a day. So therefore we need the 2 slots on the racks to be available when the leaves come off, and they need to go to the next set for the second phase, so that they have 2 stages, from blue to purple and from purple to gold, which is heavenly. So since we're using the speed grow and growing the plants in 12 hours, we also are doing these stages in 12 hours, but we don't want to have 20 plants come off and go into these because that would back up. We want to do this in stages to separate everything out and make everything flow smoothly. And of course, finally, we have the fertilizer, which will counteract our 2 stage losses from the speed grow and the PGR. So it will bring us back up from the green to blue so that we can start from blue on our drying racks. So now that we understand that we're just trying to create this sort of 24-hour cycle, it becomes a lot easier to understand what's going on with the cauldrons and ovens, because both the cauldrons and the ovens operate on 6-hour timers, which means that they can go 4 times per day, which is why we have 2 of each of these racks set into each oven. So each time that these go off every 12 hours, they'll put 2 stacks of 20 into the cauldrons. That'll be 40 leaves in each cauldron, meaning that it will have enough to last for 12 hours. Then, when that 12 hours is up, the next stage will come off the racks and go into the cauldrons, thus supplying it for another 12 hours. And as I said, the ovens are every 6 hours, so every time that a cauldron finishes a cook, it will immediately cook that up and then move over into the brick press, where the worker who is assigned the brick press will always immediately do it, because they're only handling the gasoline, which is not a heavy chore for them to do. So there will be no backup in the brick press at all. It's only 2 bricks every time, 4 times a day, so that's 8 bricks a day. And that is how this perfectly symmetrical building functions now, guys. So I hope that sheds some light on exactly how drying racks work and how you can do your own math for the drying racks if you want to customize your own builds. I just wanted to show an example using all of the additives, how many workers that you need to have to be able to assign all of these jobs, and ways to make the operation flow smoother. And so hopefully that helps some people out. I really enjoy stuff like this, but again, there is of course one caveat to all of this stuff, guys, and that is that the drying racks are still currently bugged. So if you want the drying racks to be fixed, then I don't know, you should comment on this video, "Tyler, please fix the drying racks," and hopefully he'll see that, because I know I would like to see perfectly functioning drying racks, and I'm sure a lot of other people would too, because everything else works while you're sleeping, but the drying racks stop when you're sleeping, but they'll keep going if you're awake past 4 AM. So it just makes this kind of awkward to deal with, so hopefully we can get that fixed anyways, guys. Guys, that's gonna be it from me. I'm just gonna sit up here and watch all my employees do my bidding. So if you enjoyed the video and made it all the way to the end, thanks for watching. Peace.